Hi guys, so I know you are expecting the part two of this COVID-19 data analysis project, but there is huge problem with our data sets. And you know that stuff that you do after extracting data, you try to confirm the informations that you have extracted and to see if there is any missing data and all of that. Well, I did that, and it happens that there's a lot of problem with our data. So I have consulted my bosses in the industry and haven't considered a lot of things. I think I need to do this more like a reintroduction to that first video. So basically what we're doing here this time around is just to add one or two things to what we have done earlier, right? So when I put the data to Tableau, like I said, I'll be using Tableau for my analysis. There was a lot of inconsistencies, mostly on the latitude column. We have a country, um, a province in Canada, right, that does not have longitude and latitude value. Now, this province is, um, don't mind me, I don't know how to pronounce that. I think that is not here. Oh, that's funny. That's not here. Let's look at this confirmed cases. Yeah, it's here. So I'm going to call out Canada, right? Then I'm going to call out that column. Yeah, this is the column repatriated travelers. So there is no value for the longitude and latitude, and this happens in the confirmed cases and also in the death cases. You can see right here. So you can't just assign any values to your longitude and latitude, right? Because assigning any values to it indicates a new geographical location, and that's not going to be Canada. Now, there is also one more thing that you need to take note of is if you swap your longitude value for your latitude and your latitude value for your longitude, you are plotting a different location entirely, right? So what I did now, if you see this file here, I had to download this file directly from GitHub to confirm if the mistake is coming from my side or is the way the data was imputed, and it happens that it was the way the data was imputed. So you can see a lot of different files right here, right? I've worked with and test different recommendations basically on. So this is what I finally decided to do. So I'm going to delete all of this. You don't need to delete yours, right? You can see I was trying to test out some analysis in Excel when I was not able to use Tableau, but I'm so determined to use Tableau. So I'm just going to delete this as well. Now I have this recovered, confirmed, and dead. So I would unfilter this, likewise unfilter this, death cases, unfilter this, also unfilter this. Now the repatriated travelers is not in the recovered cases, but it's not in the recovered cases, so it's just between our death cases and confirmed cases. And when I check the meaning of repatriated, it means people that were sent back to wherever it is that they are migrating from. So Canada was literally sending people back to wherever they are migrating from, right? So that is part one of the problem. Now, part two of the problem is that there are some province countries too that does not exist. Now I will open my browser now to show you. Now, first of those countries is Diamond Princess. Diamond Princess is a cruise ship, is not a country, and it is stored in the country column in our data. MZs and Dam is also a cruise ship, is not a country. We have other countries like the Summer Olympics 2020, which is also not a country. and also Winter Olympics 2022, which is also not a country. If I go back to my sheet and check out all of these guys that I just mentioned, MZ, right, MS, right, we can see MS Zandam is not a country, and here it is with zero point 0.0 longitude and latitude. Aside that, we can check for Olympics, right, and Olympics, right, we can see the two. Now, they are also stored as countries, whereas they are not countries because we can assign them to a particular location, right? Then the last one, which is Diamond Princess, which is also not a country. If we check for Diamond Princess, we'll see that too, right? Diamond Princess is also, and it also does not have geographical locations. Now, how did I get to know about these countries? This country's problem is I tested, I said I've consulted some of my mentors in the industry, and based on the recommendations that they provided, I've worked with several cases. Now, I was successful in some of the cases, and I put the data into my Tableau, and then there's this four particular countries that keeps throwing error in Tableau. So I had to track that, and that was how I was able to get all of these countries that I just mentioned. So we want all of this right in the Power Query editor before pulling the data back into our um, Tableau, or you can still go ahead and use Excel if you are not using Excel for this. So I'll come to my data and come to queries and connections, and I don't need this particular one because I just brought it in to test if I was actually pulling the correct information. So that should go. I don't need that. Now I'm going to edit this. By editing this, of course, I have access to every other queries that I've generated, right? So here now, I will now do everything back one after the other, right? So you don't need to delete yours. Just follow the process I'm going to follow here, right? So I can refresh this basically to pull up the updated information, right? So I'll start with this first. First, my longitude and latitude should be in decimal points, so I'm going to fix all of that. My date should be dates and not texts. My confirmed should be whole number, right? And that's for that. Now, the first thing I will do here is to filter out in this longitude and in this latitude column. I will load everything, and you can see none. So I would say remove empty, right? And that will filter out the empty values, right? Now, I can immediately from here to filter out the remaining four columns, like MS. The first is the Diamond Princess, right? I can uncheck that. I can scroll down for the MS Zandam, is Olympics, right? And then the Winter Olympics, right? So I will filter that out as well, right? And that has filtered out my data. Now I will come here and do the same thing again, right? I'll do the same thing here again. My longitude and latitude to decimal, decimal to date, and date to whole number, right? Then I'll fix that same thing again. That's why I said you don't need to delete the whole thing. You can just follow the step the way I'm doing it right here. So that's filtered out. Then I need to filter this column too, right? And filter out Diamond Princess, MS Zandam, Summer Olympics, and Winter Olympics. Then that's that for that. Then I'll go to recover and do the same thing again, right? Decimal point, decimal point to date, right? Then this is already in number, right? So my latitude, load everything, remove empty, right? And then the column for country, fix that Diamond Princess first, right? Followed by MS and followed by Summer Olympics, then followed by Winter Olympics, and that's done. So now I can merge the data like I did in the first video, right? So I'll just merge and of course create that as new and merge to dates and on the same columns, right? On the same columns, that's what I'm merging them with, and that will estimate the whole connection, and that should create my connection one. So I'll go ahead and merge my connection one, which is merge one, to the last table, which is the recovered, and on the columns again. Now, sorry, let's do 1, 2, 3, right? So on the columns again, and that would match it up and get me everything. Then I'll click OK. So that fixed that. Now I can correct the columns that I want. I want date from here, and the other one I want recovered, right, from there. So let it load. Then once it finished loading, I can now rename my final data and check all recovered and click OK. Now I did some columns generation in Excel, which happened in the first video, but that might cause a lot of problem later on when you are refreshing the information, right? So we just do all of that column generation and all here in the Power Query, right? So everything gets automated. As you are bringing something in, you are of course doing the whole conditioning. So the first thing we want to do is add a conditional column, which is of course for us to have this province filled up. So conditional column, right? And we'll call this province. Now mind you, we have a column titled province/state, so we'll just call this province for now. Now province or state, so when it is empty, right, what we want to have there is not provided, right? But then if it is provided, we want to select a column, right? We don't want to enter a value for it. We want this value for that particular row to be populated again. So we'll select a column and pick the state, right? And then click OK. So that would populate that particular column, right? And that's just for that. So the next three things that we generated earlier was the year column, the month column, and the day column, right? Those are the three other columns that we generated, which makes it 4 columns in total that was generated. So while this is loading, now we have this. So we need to change this to text. We don't need it to be dangling between numbers or text. So let's just leave it as text. So the next 3 columns we want to fix in are not conditional columns, because we are not writing them based on any condition. We are generating them based on custom functions, right? So the next column we'll be generating will be custom columns, right? Will be custom columns.